let's go ahead and get into this nonsense right here. How many of you have seen, I guess technically the 2015 classic, or we'll go by its release date, the 2018 classic starring one Keanu Reeves, Replicas, chat. Chris Ayers, you have. Can't believe Michael Keaton signed on for that one. Money, man. It's paycheck. He's like, hey, I get to, make a fucking down payment on my next house or something. That's what he was doing. Doom, is it 2019? Is it 2019? I don't care when chat, I'll tell you what, I don't care when this was released. Oh, this is weird. Oh, so apparently it was released in 2018 for Night Vision. Oh, it's a film festival, and then officially released in January. Shit chat of 2019. I don't know where the fuck this movie released in. Personally, I don't give a damn. It's out. It's out there in the ether and exists. Oh, man. Thunderly Graves, nope, Darkseid, I haven't. Only watched the DT review of it. Well, I can tell you what, Lead, man. I think that's pretty much the only thing that you should watch of this movie. Because at least the DT review, that managed to garner some semblance of quality from what this movie exists as. Because, man, honestly, I was going to be like, I think starting out, I'm like, okay, you're introducing an interesting premise, one that I'm familiar with. It's Signs Run Amok. It's a guy so desperate to bring back, I'll spoil it, chat, bring back his dead family that he uses his genius and untested science, and are there going to be negative consequences to his actions? Is he going to see his family become abominations? Not really. Not really. There's really no consequences in this movie whatsoever. It's fucked up. King DJ, welcome to stream. Hope you're doing. What's up, Chris? How is your night going? My night is going very well, my friend. No, I'm happy to be streaming right now, just kind of giving a brief explanation of Replicas. But the thing is, chat, apparently no one else cared about this film. Certainly didn't care about it when it was filmed in 2015 or at this film festival was released in 2018 and was finally released in 2019. No one gave a shit because this movie cost $30 million, had a box office of $9.2 million, so they just dumped this in that month. January is typically getting looked at, now times are changing. But January is typically in September looked at as that's the dumping month for films. Like, we don't know, we can't put this out in the summer, we can't put this out in the fall, winter area, so fuck it, just put it in January and see people see it, and they just did not respond to it, chat. And I can kind of understand that. Looks, I think Keanu Reeves is a very good action star. He can sell an action scene and a half, chat. I think he's a master at choreography, particularly when it comes, just hand-to-hand combat. Something we see in John Wick, that fucking, I don't know how to truly explain it, but not gun kata, but it's, just the way he shoots, it's so systematic, it's so precise that it really is an art, and that's where his talent is. He's a man of Tai Chi. A man of Tai Chi. Sofa King, super welcome to stream. Hope you're doing well. Just explaining Keanu, just complimenting Keanu Reeves right now. And so, when it comes to physicality of the acting craft, he does an excellent job. There's no question about that. And I always tip my hat to him, chat. But when it comes to speaking words or trying to have emotions come across in dialogue, he falls fucking flat, okay? I'm sorry. I've gotten on my soapbox before in regards to Keanu Reeves, chat, but he is not a very good actor. He really struggles with the material when he's given a lot of dialogue to say. There are exceptions. There's some films I have not seen him in, which apparently he's very good in. But for most of the films that I've seen, throughout his career, I've not been too impressed outside of the action movies which he stars in, which are actually quite good. And his fucking weird ability to remain youthful. The guy's barely aged in like the 30-plus years that he's been in movies. I'll give him that. I don't know what his lifestyle is or what his workout regimen is or what he's injecting himself in night, chat. That youth juice, I'm not sure, but he's taking very good care of himself, so I admire him from that, chat. Just not the greatest actor. And I think that is also just the biggest problem with this movie here. Is that and it's not only him, it's not only Keanu Reeves' fault, chat. It's not only his fault because every actor, I think, is struggling with this material, and everyone just has like a fucking twist of their character to where it's just like, I guess that's how they're just going to react to the situation now. And we're just going to move forward because the plot requires us to move forward and go from this scene to this scene. So change your entire personality on a dime, okay? Or introduce a new element that just kind of feels completely unearned. But that's what we get with Replicas, chat. But let me tell you, because we are starting out, chat, and we're in the wonderful country of Puerto Rico. And man, chat, they make Puerto Rico look incredible. Mostly because it takes place in the most affluent sections of the country. It's pretty much where they have the entire place squared off only for the rich white people. And Keanu Reeves, he lives in the rich white people section with his rich white family. So he's doing great so far. But he is in charge of a secret project for a pharmaceutical company, Chad, a bioengineering pharmaceutical company. They are basically taking people's brains, chat, or like downloading their brains, their brainwaves, all that shit, of people who were just died, who just deceased for a few hours, and downloading information and plugging it into robots, chat. And so, in a way to continue a person's life. That's what they're trying to do. And they're basically, really, they're fucking copy and pasting people's memories to a robot. That's what he's doing. And chat, we're opening up, and that's what Keanu Reeves and his best friend Ed Middleditch, the guy from well, what's the show, Silicon Valley, chat. His name is Ed, but I forget what his first name in real life is. So we're gonna call him good old Ed Middleditch. And they're super excited because they just got a dead soldier, chat. His brain is perfectly intact. His lower body just shot to shit with slug shit, just a ton of internal trauma. I still think that trauma would affect the brain in some way. I mean, the chemistry of the brain, and people are like, yeah, it's probably all fucking scramble in there too, but nah, it's fine. Don't even worry about it. And so they got this slab of meat that once was a soldier, chat, and they're putting this contraption on his head. It's like the needle from Dead Space. Remember the needle from Dead Space 2, chat, when it goes in your head? They put this thing on him, and it goes right in there, and it just sucks up all the brain juice. All the brain juice gets downloaded, and like, okay, we got the brain juice, Keanu's like, put it on the robot. And they go ahead, and they put on the robot, chat, and it's like, okay, hopefully this will work this time, because they've had a lot of failed experiments, chat. The acclimation process via human brain to robot body has not been going swell. And so they put on this thing, and boom, he's down with perfect in sync chat. Like there was no problems with it going inside the robot. Like, okay, that's good. It's a good step. And Keanu Reeves he just starts talking to the body. He's like, hey, Sergeant Phillips, are you doing okay? And the robot looks up at him. He's like, who am I? Who am I? And he just begins to panic. He's like, you're Sergeant Phillips. And he looks down himself. He's like, ah! It's like, yeah, you should probably, I don't know, it's hard to acclimate someone to the fact that one just died, saw something so horrific, their life flashed before their eyes, it was inundated with hot, molten lead, chat, of shrapnel, I mean, soldier's death, and then you're uploading, and then moments later for him, he's in a robot body. So there's a lot of trauma involved with that, and I'm not sure why Keanu Reeves and Ed Middleditch didn't think about that in this process, because this guy is fucking freaking out, chat. I mean, he's kind of bolted to his chair, and the robot just begins to tear its own face off. It's tearing at its own body, and Keanu Reeves is like, whoa, I guess it's not working. Yeah, no shit's not working, Keanu Reeves. Why are you so, he's just so calm. And here's the thing, chat. If you look at this scene, everyone in the scene is aghast. They're aghast, chat. Ed Middleditch is aghast. Everyone else is like, oh my god, we gotta shut this down. And Keanu's like, I guess we gotta shut down. He's always calm. And it's because that, and this, again, you could tell the movie's budget was not high. I mean, it had a $3 million budget, so you expected to at least, you got one robot. You can make it look good here. And this robot, occasionally looks fine. But then, like, they have, like, I think a practical robot body, but then they switch to, like, a CGI robot body, and it just does not look, like, when it's ripping its face off, like, the movements are not right. Like, this thing is not fully rendered, and we see this fucking robot again later in the movie, and it's like, oof, that's rough. You should not have it moving around. Just have it sitting and kind of turning its head occasionally. That's the most that you could do with that budget, chat. Oh, God. And so they shut it down, and they unplugged the thing, and, that's like, it's another failure. And Keanu Reeves, he's like, oh, damn it. We were so close, Ed Middleditch. Ed Middleditch is like, were we at this point? I mean, at least he spoke words, but still, he started to tear his face off. I don't think that's progress. And Chad, who the hell walks in? It's Dr. Jonas. Dr. Jonas, he's the head of this bioengineering pharmaceutical company, and he's been checking on this progress, and he's not happy with pretty much the lack of progress here. Keanu Reeves is telling him, he's like, listen, we had it talking. We were having an initiated conversation. He's like, yeah, you're talking to it as it was ripping its own face off. He's like, listen, if you're not going to produce results for me, for this company, I'm going to have to let you go. I'm going to have to let Ed Middleditch go. I'm going to have to let all these other people go. We got to shut this down, okay? I need something so I can show this to the shareholders, okay? So we can get more money. That's how this fucking works, Keanu Reeves. Don't be so high and mighty. Oh, for the bane of humanity. No. It's about the money, honey. So fucking find out how to do this. And Keanu Reeves is like, oh, okay, man. And so he's stressed out. And Keanu Reeves is like, you know what? Instead of, I'm going to let Ed Middleditch clean up the dead soldier body and the robot dead soldier body. I'm going to go home and see my family. And chat, Keanu Reeves, he has a beautiful family. Because seriously, they are. It's wonderful. And because his wife is Alice Eve, and wow, she looks fantastic in this film, chat. Looks great. I mean, and the thing is, I think it's like, since they didn't really give her a lot to do in the movie, they typically just focus on her body and how her ass looks in these jeans, because there are constant, look, stay with me now, chat. There are constant shots and where it's like medium shots, and also just far away shots, like inside a house, which is weird. So the camera's like all the way, it's all the way backed up, and you see Keanu and her talking, and it's just obvious. I mean, right dab center chat is her ass. So that was the focus. And it's like, listen, she's a beautiful looking woman. She's got a great body, no doubt. But that's really all you're doing with her. Come on. But he's going home, chat, and his wife's there, and she's loading up the car because they're going to be going on a little camping trip. Somewhere in the wilds of Puerto Rico, chat. They're leaving the white compound out into the wilds of Puerto Rico. And so she's loading this stuff up, and their kids are running around having a good time. He has a older daughter, chat, has a teenage daughter, has a teenage son, and like an 8-year-old daughter, and they're adorable. The littlest daughter's name is Zoe. I don't know what the other two's names are because they don't say them enough in the movie, chat, despite them being in the movie longer than Zoe. But Zoe's kind of emphasized for good reason. But he's got the other kids and Zoe. And, Keanu Reeves, he's talking to Alice Eve, and he's like, oh, honey, work's not going great. I'm just not sure what we can do. We're trying to copy people's brains onto robot bodies, and it's just not taken. She says, well, don't you think you might be missing something? It's not, you think it's a copy, brain waves, brain chemistry, all that scientific mumbo jumbo. What about a soul? Aren't you missing the soul, Keanu Reeves? And Keanu Reeves kind of stares blankly off into the fucking middle distance and goes, no, it's not. It's like, okay. And wife goes, well, fine. Well, let's just go on our little trip then. And so they all load up in the car, Chase. Like, let's just spend the weekend. We'll spend the weekend out in the wilds of Puerto Rico. Take your mind off of it. I'm sure you'll be inspired. And so, chat, I don't know for whatever reason why they decide to go on a camping trip when it's fucking pouring rain. So again, kind of a little bit of a plot hole. It's like, why are you doing this? This is just odd that you want. Maybe they're going on a boat. I think they're going on a boat. Maybe it's like a camping trip or on a boat. But still, I would not go out onto the waters of Puerto Rico on the coast when there's a fucking storm going on. That seems dangerous to me. But Keanu Reeves is like, I got it. Everything's fine. I know what I'm doing. I'm copying people's brainwaves onto robots. But he hasn't done it well yet, so it's like, okay, it's not a sign of confidence there, Keanu Reeves. And so he's taking his family out, and they're driving. They're having a good time. And him and the wife are talking, the kids are talking or whatever. And all of a sudden, chat, they almost get hit by a truck. He fucking freaks like, oh, Jesus. And he spins the wheel, truck almost goes right by him, chat. But they're fine. Keanu Reeves thankfully saved the day. Has those quick judo reflexes, chat. And, Alice Eve says, whew, that was a close one. And all of a sudden a fucking tree lands in the goddamn car, chat, and she is impaled. She is impaled by the tree. And she's all, she cannot breathe, chat. She is vomiting blood, bile, really just everything from her stomach, just everywhere. The kids are like, oh my God, everyone's screaming. Zoe's screaming because she's covered in her mother's her vomit and gore. It's not good. It's not good, chat. And Keanu, he's freaking out because he's also covered in his wife's vomit and gore. And then he fucking keels right off the goddamn road, chat. He ends up into the oceans. Or actually, I guess it's the rivers of Puerto Rico. So they're in the wilds of Puerto Rico already. It goes fucking right in the river, chat. And the car, it head first. And it pops up, though. It kind of pops up and it rests. It rests. And we cut to sometime later, minutes later maybe, Keanu Reeves, he comes to, and he's oh God. And he's calling for his wife. He's calling for his kids. He's like, oh my God. Oh my God, we don't see what happened to his wife and kids, so we don't know where they are. But then we soon see, because we then cut to Keanu Reeves walking onto the beach shed on the wilds of Puerto Rico, and he places the lifeless corpse of his daughter Zoe next to the lifeless corpses of his two older children and the impaled corpse of his wife. And he's not doing well, Chad. He's like, I can't handle this. It's too much stress. Work has been stressing out on me, and I don't like the fact that my family's dead. That is also stressful. I have an idea. He goes ahead and he calls Ed Middleditch, and he says, hey, I need your help. I need you to bring me the 3 vats that we clone people in. I also need the technology to download people's brains. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, come. And so Ed Middleditch, poor Ed Middleditch, shit, he didn't want to be dragged in this shit. He just wanted to fucking relax in Puerto Rico, work on this experiment. Even if he gets fired, he's like, hey, I made some money. I'm working in a beautiful country. And so he comes over, he's like, what are you doing? This is not, first of all, Keanu, this is not a healthy way to do. He's like, no, man, I need to save my family. He's like, Middleditch tried to explain something to him. He's like, listen, you're not going to save your family. They're dead. What we do, we copy. I mean, this is, like, listen to this, chat. We copy people's brainwaves and chemistry over to a robot. It's not the same person. Your family's dead. You're literally making new people. That's all it is. And Keanu's like, I don't care about that. It's like, that is really shitty. That is incredibly selfish of him, chat. He's not doing this for the sake of his family. This is really why I was like, you know what, fuck this character. Because he's not doing it for the sake of his family, chat. He's doing this for himself. Because he is so selfish, and this is all he wants. And he will literally make new bodies and download memories into these bodies that aren't their memories. It's fucked up. And so Middleditch's like, I don't want to be involved in this. And Keanu Reeves, I guess he convinces him somehow. He's just like, oh, you need to help me with this. And Middleditch is like, fine, I guess so. I mean, we need to make the movie continue on, or at least we wouldn't have a movie. And so he forces Ed Middleditch, chat, to go back to the lab. And this is stupid. Because, listen, I wouldn't say it's the same, but I work in an environment in a university, state institution, where if we're going to move, like, equipment to, like, new locations, especially expensive equipment, we need to fill out a shit ton of paperwork, okay? And, like, because people will then keep track of this shit, too, if it's missing, on a very regular basis. And they are literally fucking shipping this brain scanning technology, these giant cube vats that clone things, and they're all taking it to Keanu Reeves' house for a weekend. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, no. That wouldn't happen. And they would even know if you checked that shit out. That would be on security cameras. They would see all this shit. Did Ed Middleditch just cut the security feed for this biochemical pharmaceutical company so they didn't see him taking all this shit out? I guess not. I guess no one saw it yet. And so they bring all this stuff over to Keanu Reeves' place. And Keanu Reeves, he's downloaded all the information from his dead family because I guess the brain's still active for however long, like a day or something. I don't know specifically. It's active for a while. So he downloaded all the memories from his children and his wife, and he's carrying around this little briefcase. And Emil just is like, okay, you got that. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and explain how to do the cloning. So he's like, no, before that, I need you to dispose of the bodies. And it's like, whoa. Why does Ed Middleditch have to be the one to dispose of bodies, man? Shouldn't you be the one to do that? It's like, why are you thrusting so much responsibility on this guy? What does Keanu Reeves have on him? Did he look up his search history or something? I mean, what was Ed Middleditch looking up at this pharmaceutical company, Chad? I don't know, but it must have been bad. It must have been pretty bad if Ed Middleditch just goes, sure, man, I'll dispose of the corpses of 4 people. No problem. And Keanu's like, okay, I got the brainwaves downloaded and stuff. How do I clone him? He's like, all right, so all you gotta do is, it's very chat, cloning is very easy. It's very easy. He said, you got 3 vats here. 1 person to each vat, okay? I'm gonna put, I don't know how they get it. I'm gonna take their DNA, we're gonna throw in the vat. It's like you're making fucking soup, Jay. You're making a people soup, except you clone. It's like clone people soup. I'm gonna throw some DNA in there, and you have to keep it at this specific temperature, at this, I don't know, specific frequency. A lot of scientific mumbo. Just make sure that it doesn't, like, shake and shit, too. And they always have to be online. And then we get like a weird plot point of like, well, I mean, I guess power goes off often in Puerto Rico. I guess it does with the event of a hurricane, so I guess that makes sense. And so Keanu Reeves says like, okay, I know just the thing, because his Middleditch is asking, well, do you have a generator to keep the fucking clone soup cubes online? And he's like, no, I don't have a generator. He's like, you gotta get a generator, man. It's fucking 2 in the morning on a Saturday. When am I gonna get a generator? He's like, I don't know. And so Keanu Reeves, dark side, think with 5 biddies. It's like baking a cake. That's all it is, man. When you create a baby, ladies, let me ask you. You know, when you're growing a human inside, it's just like baking a cake, right? Very simple. Very simple. Rocker, pretty welcome to the stream. I can't even move this stuff from one person to another without something going missing. Oh, man. Well, you can easily move multi-million-dollar soup human cloning vats. Easy peasy. And so Keanu Reeves then proceeds to go out into the wilds of Puerto Rico, chat, and takes, from my guess, at least a dozen, if not more, car batteries. Just steals this shit. How would he get into all these people's cars? Were they just on the street? Were they people's garages? I mean, how? But he brings this all back. He hooks up the clone soup vats to these things. Middleditch is like, I guess that'll work. And he says, okay, you keep the frequencies right, you keep the water at this temperature, and you keep the human juices at this temperature, and you'll grow all your family members, or at least 3 family members, because, oh, that's the thing, Jay, he has to make a choice now, too. He's like, Keanu's like, I need a 4th vat. He's like, I don't have a 4th vat, man. We got 3 human clone vats. And he's like, I gotta make a choice. And so Keanu Reeves literally writes people's names down, like his wife, his 3 children, and he's like, well, I'm going to put my wife to the side because I want my wife no matter what. I mean, that's obvious, okay? I mean, you've seen Alice Reeve and them jeans, chat. She's going to live no matter what. So I got to pick 2 out of 3 kids here. And so he literally writes them on a piece of paper, throws them into like a little fucking plastic bin. And he's like, Ed Middleditch, pick one for you. He's like, I'm not going to pick your clone child, okay? I have to dispose of 4 slowly decomposing bodies right now. Okay, that's on you, man. That's a you problem. I'm leaving. I gotta do this. And Keanu Reeves, he picks 2 out of the fucking thing, chat, and it's his eldest daughter, and his son. And poor little old Zoe, chat, the only child I actually know who their name is. She's you can't do it. And so then he's like, oh shit, well, since I can't do that, I gotta do something really fucked up. And Middleditch is, what are you gonna do? I'm going to delete my family's memories of Zoe. So he's gonna, again, just like, wow, that is extremely cruel. And where he's gonna take out all the memories of Alice Reeves' daughter and all the memories of his children's, of their sister Zoe. It's like, that is fucked up. And I'm like, all right, Keanu Reeves gonna get his at the end. I don't care. You're trying to make him look so goddamn sympathetic. It's like, no, I mean, he is extremely manipulative. This is signs at his worst, chat. You're literally crafting a human being. You're playing fucking God, Keanu Reeves. And you're removing things that made that person, who that person was. And just for your own selfish desires. And lack of learning how to deal with fucking trauma. Jesus, dude. And so he deletes the memories of Zoe from everybody. And he fucking puts their DNA, he puts the clump of meat in there. I don't know what he does yet. I guess he puts like a big old hunk of Alice Eve, big ol' hunk of meat of his 2 kids, and he just fucking waits there for 17 days. Meanwhile, the office is calling, like Dr. Jonas is calling. He's like, where are you coming in, man? All right, we gotta get this fucking project going. We gotta get the brain scanning thing working with the robots. And he's like, I have pneumonia. I'm just not feeling all that great. And he's like, there's something going on, and we don't know. But then, because then end of Middleditch, he's like, listen, you gotta get to fucking work, man. You have to do this because he's on my ass and he's suspecting something, and people are going to ask like where this technology is, and they're going to do an inspection like in a couple days. So you got to get your ass here. And so Ed Middleditch, they change places. Ed Middleditch, he watches over the family, chat. And Keanu Reeves, he goes to work. And, you know, again, everyone's suspecting that something weird's going on. Jones suspecting something weird's going on, but he's trying to play it safe. He's working as much as he can, but he's like, all of his thoughts are on his family, chat. Now, eventually, he goes home, and this fucking random woman just walks out, and he's like, oh, hello, and gets some really awkward acting from Keanu here. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you must be Mr. Reeves. I just stopped by to check on your son, you know. He hasn't been to class in a few days, and I've been calling your wife, and I've been calling you. I just haven't heard a response. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. But I heard about what's going on, so it's no problem. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't call. I'm so sorry. And she leaves. Again, really weird, just kind of awkwardness. He goes inside there, and Edmund just, is she gone? He's like, yeah, she's gone. What was that about? Oh, I mean, that was your son's teacher from school. And she's asking where your kid is, man. I mean, I had to come up with something. What'd you tell her? It's like, I told him that everyone has chicken pox and that they're with your grandparents right now in the States. He's like, my parents are dead. Like, that's not gonna check. He's like, listen, man, you didn't tell me that. I'm just trying to come up with things on the fly. You should be watching your clone meat family downstairs. He's like, I'm leaving. And before he does leave, Chap, he unloads them out of the vats. And they look good. They're looking good, okay? But again, they're basically just meat sacks at this point, chat. There's meat and that's it. And so he has to plug the memories into them. And so he goes ahead and what's the word? Oh shit, chat. What's the word I'm thinking of? He injects them so they kind of pass out. Jesus Christ, I'm losing my goddamn mind here. What's that word, chat? Inoculates? No. Help me out here. It's when you get a shot and you get someone and you go to sleep. I'm losing my god. Anyway. Yeah, they're sedated. They're sedated. Thank you. I can't believe I forgot that word. So he goes ahead and sedates them all. And he plugs the machines into them and he downloads, all the memories are downloaded into their bodies. And he puts them into bed and shit. And eventually he's like, okay, well, they should come to and in a couple days. And what's the whole fucking thing? Oh no, this is the thing. So he hasn't downloaded the memories yet, chap, because he's worried. He's still a little worried and the process won't take hold because they'll fucking lose their minds and go crazy. And eventually, and this is fucking weird, chat, he figures out in a weird process where if he touches his wife's arm and there's like brain activity, so it's like, okay, that's interesting. So I guess the clone body remembers something, and then that's when he realizes, like, oh, now I know why the project hasn't taken hold, why there's such a negative reaction when we download the human consciousness into a robot, is because that's not the human consciousness body. So I figured out, based on just touching my wife's arm, that if we download basically her memories to her exact body, which is her clone body, then it'll be good. I'm like, okay. Sure, I mean, you were going to do it anyway, but fine, whatever. And so he's like, that's what we got to do. So we're going to ever do this in the future. We can't download people into robot bodies. It has to be into clone bodies. And except when that doesn't happen at the end of the movie. We'll get to it, chat. And so he downloads it, and the wife kind of comes to, and she's like, oh my God, what? Oh, I'm sore. What happened? She's like, oh, honey, I'm so glad you're here. But you gotta go to sleep now. I'm gonna sedate you. That's the word I learned. Gotta sedate him. And so she goes back to sleep, chat. Everyone's good. He takes away all the medical equipment. He gets Ed Middleditch to pack up the cloning soup vats and everything else. He's like, I'll see you at work, man, the next day. And so Keanu Reeves, he goes to bed with his clone wife. He's sleeping, chat. And then he wakes up in the morning. His wife's not there. What happened to clone wife? What happened to Alice Eve? And he's running. You don't see the kids aren't in their bed. He's like, oh, what's happened? What's happened? And he runs downstairs, chat, and they're just eating breakfast. Everything's fine. Alice Eve walks up and she a little smooch on the cheek, chat. Kids, they're fucking eating a shit ton of shit. I'm like, terrible manners too, because they have all this cereal out. And apparently they've missed the bowl completely. Which is, I think that's a weird thing. We're gonna touch on that again, chat, because I'm like, okay, something is off of these clones, because a ton of food's just scattered everywhere, and they missed their plates and shit. But Keanu Reeves is like, oh, how are you guys feeling? Like, we're feeling okay. I mean, we can't really use our hands anymore, but other than that, we're doing all right. And Alice Eve is like, no, I'm feeling fucking great. I'm feeling hot. I just gotta run. You wanna run? I gotta run. And so she just fucking takes off running, chat. She's running in the wilds of Puerto Rico. And Keanu Reeves, he's like, I'm gonna make you guys some pancakes. You guys want some pancakes, French toast? He'll do anything for his kids, chat. He loves them so much. And then meanwhile, we cut out to Roofie. Not that. Although, who knows? Keanu Reeves, I mean, his sense of morality is very askew, so he might start doing shit like that. So we were following Alice Eve, chat, and she's running, and all of a sudden we just hear a, like her stomach. It's like, oh, she's got the bubbly guts, chat. We just hear a, I was like, what's wrong with her? And I was like, this is weird. See, she just kind of stops. She's like, oh, Jesus, I got the clone shits. What's happening? And then we cut back to Keanu Reeves' home, and he's just giving his kids everything that they want. He's making them French toast, making them pancakes. They're having a good time. Fucking Alice Eve walks in. I guess she might have gone to the bathroom, Chad. She just had some clone shits, which happens when you're in a soup vat for so long. You store a lot up in there. I mean, you know, she probably had a massive food baby, Chad. Ugh. And so, Keanu Reeves is like, shit, okay, well, glad you're back. Wife's just drinking juice, Chad, because she needs the fluids. She just took a massive dump. And so he's like, cool. But he gets called by the office. And the officer calling, like, we gotta have you come in. And he's like, shit, okay, I guess I gotta go in. And then, because Ed Middleditch keeps calling him. And Ed Middleditch, he meets up with Ed Middleditch's work. Ed Middleditch is like, listen, man, fucking big thing here. Like, we have to, like, people are starting to figure out, like, this stuff was missing. So we have to, like, move, like, right now. We have to figure out how to put people's memories into robot bodies, and we gotta do it like in 24 hours. And he's like, fuck, okay, Jesus, all right, God. And so he's like, okay, well, the only thing I know what to do is I gotta use me. I gotta experiment on myself. And so, this is stupid. He takes the technology, chat, you know, the thing that goes in the head and injects in the ear and sucks up the brain juice. He goes to the bathroom with this shit, chat. And of course, he's working in the handicap stall because, as we all know, the handicap stall is the best stall, chat. There's plenty of room to spread out, and you want to spread out too. You want to be cramped when you take it a number 2, chat. It's the last thing you want to do, okay? You want to get spread out, and you got that bar right there. So you can grip that. It's like, ugh, good stuff. And so Keanu Reeves, very smart, decided to go there. And he's just about to plug himself in and download his brain juices into the computer, into this little hard drive, chat, so he can upload to the robot body. But then who fucking walks in, chat? It's Jonas. And Jonas, again, who does not care about boundaries, chat. Fuck social distance. He's like, hey, Keanu Reeves, how you doing, buddy? And he goes, like, right up to the stall. He's like, so things going well? Heard you just did another little experiment with a soldier, and you didn't want to do it because apparently, chat, they had a fresh soldier body. And I was like, oh, we can do this a second time, but Keanu Reeves is like, nah, it's not going to work, so why even bother? And so they just abandoned that shit. Huge opportunity, millions upon millions of dollars lost. And so Jones is walking in. He's just a little upset. You could tell by his tone of voice. And Keanu Reeves is like, yeah, it just wasn't good enough, you know. He's like, he's talking, very weird, very awkward to talk on the toilet, too. So Jones is like, you could tell he's just pissed off. I'm going to talk to you no matter what, because I can't get a hold of you. You've been gone for 17 days. Where you been? And it's like, we'll get another opportunity next time. He's like, well, might not get another opportunity. We'll see, Keanu Reeves, we'll see. And then Jones just takes his fucking time, like washing his hands, just looking at the stall, just looking at that stall, saying, And eventually, we don't even know if he leaves. And Keanu Reeves is like, well, now's the best time to inject a 2-inch long needle inside my eye. And grips the handicap bar right there, spreads out, it bop, beep, boop on the computer, boom, goes right into his head, and he goes, ah! And so I guess it makes sense. So for anyone who thinks that, you know, he's in there not doing anything illicit, he's just taking a massive shit. A massive shit in there. And he needs to eat some more goddamn vegetables, chat. That's not good for him, okay? It's not good. So it's fucking successful. He walks out of there. I imagine he pooped too, because that would have been very stressful. And, you know, Ed Middleditch sees this like, what, are you bleeding? Are you crying blood? He's like, oh, no, I just used the thing on myself. He's like, why did you do that? Because, Ed Middleditch, I figured out that if I can still be alive and basically put my copy brainwaves into a robot body and talk to the robot, it'll be fine. And Middleditch just goes, okay. It's like, what? Okay, is that how we're gonna do it? Does that make more okay, sure. Okay, that's fine. Again, we just learned, chat, earlier in the movie, that the reason why the human brainwaves to the robot body isn't working is because it's not the same body. So you're telling me now that if the original person is still alive and the fucking two have a conversation and go like, hey, how you doing? And it's fine? Bullshit. What? Okay, whatever. And so he's like, I downloaded it. I mean, thank God they're color-coded, chat, because you got like the regular blue kind of hard drive, the yellow hard drive. Yellow hard drive is the best one. That's the one with the good old Keanu Reeves brain. And he's like, we did it. We can show this off to fucking Jonas tomorrow morning. I'm just gonna go home and meet with my family. That's what I'm gonna go do. And so then he goes home, chap. And the wife's been off like all day. Like there's something wrong. We see her when we come in, and this is the ass shot, chat, where it's a wide shot, and this entire scene you're just staring at Alice Reeves' ass, and she looks amazing in those jeans. Like no ifs, ands, or buts. Ha! A lot of buts, but. It's like, okay, come on, guys. And so she's like, listen, Keanu Reeves, I've had a lot of feelings. I've had a lot of stomach problems today, but I just don't feel right. I don't remember, like, the last 2 weeks. I checked the calendar, and I remembered nothing. Keanu Reeves, you didn't think of any of this shit at the time? There is a scene early on in the movie, chat, where he goes, oh, shit, I have to account for the fact that my family's gone for 2 weeks. Like, my kids have friends, my kids have school, my wife has her thing, my wife has her friends. And so we get an extended scene of him on everyone's social media account and just lying to dozens upon dozens of people, chat. Talking like a teenager, ruining his daughter's relationship with her best bae, chat. Oh, it's terrible. Playing the computer games, playing fucking World of Warcraft for a hot minute. It's like, okay, wow, you are committing everything to this lie, Keanu Reeves. Good for you, man. I have to give chat dedication. But Alice Eve at this point, she's like, nah, something's up. I don't feel right. And she's like, you know what? You're probably just, it's fine. You know, you said you had some bubbly guts earlier. We all get little bubbly guts now. I'm stressed out. I mean, I took a massive shit at work. I was crying blood after mine. So you're probably just not feeling well. And she goes, you know what? It's probably it. Maybe I got some food poisoning. Memory's a little fun. She's like, yeah, that's it. Lie after lie on top of lie, chat. Why don't you go upstairs? And then we fucking just watch Keanu Reeves stare at her ass upstairs, chat. And the camera's just like, oh, it's gone. So obnoxious. And so eventually he goes to bed, chat. Kids are in bed too. But then the daughter, she starts a hollering, chat. She's like, oh God. Ah! She wakes up. She's screaming her ass off. Keanu Reeves, he fucking runs in there. He's like, what's wrong? Oh my God, Dad, is Mom okay? I saw Mom die. Mom died. She was in a car and she drowned. It's like, oh, those residual memories are still there, chat. And then the fucking brother, whose name I don't know, he died. And then I died. She's like, no, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Hey, just close your eyes. Fucking sedates her, chat. Gets a goddamn needle, injects something into her. Might as well roofie his daughter, chat. That's what he just did. Might as well roofie the daughter. And he's like, all right, don't panic. He takes her body, goes down to the basement, chat, and he's like, I'm just gonna delete those pesky memories, because fuck you. And he deletes them. Maybe he should delete them in the first place, of the accident, chat. And so he deletes that shit, and then Alice Eve comes down, and is like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, nothing. And he's like, take that shit off my door. He's like, it's like, no, you gotta explain, like, what's going on? And he goes, okay, don't be mad, but 17 plus days ago, you all died. And she's like, what are you talking about? And you died. And so I had fucking Ed Middleditch bring the clone soup vats in, and I threw a hunk of meat in there, and then you grew, and I downloaded from your dead bodies all your memories, and I plugged it into the meat, and here you are. And she's just like, what? And she's like, get that off my daughter. Get that off my daughter right now. And she takes it off, and she just goes upstairs, chat, and she's just sitting on the couch. She just has a drink in her hand just like this. She doesn't know what to think anymore. She's like, her whole world's collapsing on itself, chat. What a fucking betrayal from Keanu Reeves. And Keanu Reeves, he comes down, and he's like, I just couldn't lose you. And Alice Eve, after all this shit, she's just like, I'm dead. She's like, no, you're not dead. No, you're here right now. You're real. It's like, no, Keanu, as explained earlier in the movie, chat, we know that it's not the true person. It's a copy of the person. That original person's gone. That's what cloning is, Chad. That's a whole new person that was just made. That's not the original individual. And so he's talking to a complete stranger. Matter of fact, it's a stranger who he imposed a new will upon and memories upon. It's very fucked up. Steve, welcome to stream. Just talking about how shitty of a person Keanu Reeves is in this movie. And so eventually he goes, let's just go to sleep. She goes, okay. And because she's so overwhelmed by this, Chad. She's eventually, because she loves Keanu Reeves so much, and he's so sexy. She's like, let bygones be bygones. Let's go up to bed. And so they do that, chat. And then the next day, Ed Middleditch, he stops by, and he's like, hey, we're going to go Christmas tree shopping. And Keanu Reeves is like, boy, are we? And then later that afternoon, Keanu Reeves brings out the whole family. And they're all Christmas tree shopping. And Mildred, she's super awkward. He's like, this is not really your real family. I saw their bodies. I disposed of their corpses. So this is fucked up and weird. But they're trying to have a good day. But fucking Alice Eve, she sees something off in the distance. She see this little girl. She's this little girl. And she's like, what was that? Oh, it's so familiar. It's like she's something about it. It's in her memory. She just can't place it. And then they get to do their Christmas tree shopping shack. They get a good tree. They go home, and everyone's having dinner. And this is a very weird scene because I mean it's interesting. One is the Alice Eve and the kids, their motor functions aren't right, and so when like the son, he goes to grab some mashed potatoes, he doesn't make it to the plate, and it drops in his glass, and he's like, oh, I don't know why I did that, and so it happens several times in the film. It's hinted at in the beginning of the film, and all the cereals around them, it's like just spilled everywhere. And I'm like, okay, are the bodies degrading? Are they breaking down? The thing is, that's never touched on again. I truly believe there's a cut of this movie where maybe the family, maybe the clone bodies failed or something like that, because they don't. And Keanu Reeves is realizing this at the time. But it's never touched on again. If it is, I mean, Chris Ayers, you see this movie? I don't know if you know the history of this film, but it's just bizarre. I'm like, okay, is this going to be a plot? It's not. It's not. Again, it's just a fucking wasted, I guess, plot line that they never even really pursued. It's like, okay. And so his daughter brings up, Dad, who's Zoe? And the mom's in the kitchen, and she apparently drops every single thing in the kitchen, chat. And she just gets right out there. She's like, who's Zoe? And the daughter's like, yeah, Zoe. Like, I saw this girl. She had her name scrawled in like in crayon on a wall, like pink crayon or something. And I noticed we have a whole it's weird. We have a whole nother room in the house, and it has a bunk bed, and like no one lives in there. Keanu Reeves didn't spend any of the time to take out all of his daughter's things in the goddamn room. And so it's like there's a whole bunch of shit in here for this person who's not here anymore. Like, he threw out some of the stuff, Chap, but he didn't get rid of the bed. It's like, you missed some big fucking details, Keanu Reeves, okay? Like, they show him, like, erasing, because Zoe apparently loves to scrawl her name on the goddamn, like walls and shit, and the table. But he forgot, like, the goddamn bunk bed and her clothes in her closet. She's like, yeah, I found these fucking clothes. And he's like, are you kidding me? And the wife's going, what? Okay, we gotta fucking talk. We gotta talk right now. And she fucking takes him in the kitchen. She's like, what is this about? Kirby goes, okay, don't be mad. So you weren't mad. I mean, you were a little mad when I told you that you died and I copied you over to human meat sack bodies. Well, I may have manipulated some more memories. She's like, what the hell did you? So we had a third daughter. Her name was Zoe. I only had 3 soup vats for human meat. And so I had to pick. And I'm like, hey, you were number one. Let me tell you, you were number one. So I didn't have to choose. Like, you were obvious. So I had to use Ed Middleditch to pick the 2 other kids out of the goddamn hat. And she's like, the thing is, I mean, she's like shocked at first, but then she kind of gets over it a little bit, because then we have someone at the door. Someone's ringing that big old hawking doorbell. And Keanu Reeves, he goes over there, chat. And who is at the goddamn door? It's Dr. Mr. Jonas, chat. Dr. Mr. Jonas is there. He's like, oh, hello, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy Festivus, because we're in Puerto Rico. Sorry for stopping by. I just want to see how you guys were doing. And Alice Eve's like, oh, hi, Dr. Mr. Jonas. Come inside. He goes like, oh, Alice. The Alice. Oh, Keanu Reeves told me so much about you. You were so, and I could tell, you invited me to dinner. Thanks. Oh, no, I want to stay. I can't stay any longer, but you are as generous as you are beautiful. And she's like, oh, thank you. And she's like, I just got to spare your husband here for me. You don't mind if I borrow him? It won't be too long. Don't get jealous now. And she's like, go ahead and borrow him. And she like grabs Carrie's by the neck and says, we aren't fucking done. He's like, okay. And so Dr. Mr. Jonas and Keanu Reeves, they go outside, chat. And Mr. Dr. Jonas is like, hey, I know everything, by the way. Fucking Ed Middleditch squealed. He squealed like a pig on you, buddy. And Keanu Reeves is like, no, Ed Middleditch, why the betrayal? And so I know that those things in there are copies of your family. Keanu Reeves is like, no, it's my real family. It's like, no, they're not. And he explains it, chat. Like, I like this character. This character's all about the business. He knows what he's about. And he's like, listen, you literally, we're in the business of copying people over to new things, okay? That's what you did. Those aren't your real family, okay? He tried to get rid of the bodies. I found the fucking rotting corpses of your real family. You want to see them right now. Those are the real people, okay? But no. That is fucking my property right there. That is Cyberdyne, whatever the hell the name of the organization is, property. And Keanu Reeves is like, no. He's like, listen, do you have any idea how much this technology is worth? How incredible this is? How we can sell this to the highest bidder? And Keanu Reeves is like, what do you mean highest bidder? What are you talking about? We're a fucking bioengineering pharmaceutical company. He's like, no, we're not, dummy. We're making weapons, baby. That's what we're doing. Can you imagine, Keanu Reeves, if we can copy a soldier's mind, a hacker's mind, a general's mind, a genius strategist into multiple bodies, one after another? You know how many fucking countries will pay for that kind of shit? And Keanu's like, oh my God, you're evil. He's like, yes, I'm evil, of course. Come on now. It took you that long to figure it out? So here's the plan, man. You're gonna basically give me the data, how to make this shit, okay? And you know, say, I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy, Keanu Reeves. I will give you one night to say goodbye to your weird meat clone family, okay? And then I'm going to kill him. I'm going to give you one night, so go ahead and tuck your kids in, kiss them on each cheek, and go upstairs and just go on out on your wife, man. Just make sweet, hot love to your wife. But then 24 hours, I'm going to fucking liquidate them, okay? I'm going to do that for you, boo. And he's like, go ahead, go inside. Man, bring me the data, and I'll let you do your thing. And Kurt, he walks in there, and Alice is like, she asks, everything good? He's like, fine, everything's fine. He goes downstairs, chat. He grabs the data with his copied brain in there, and he goes up there, chat. But fucking Mr. Dr. Jonas, he calls his guys. He arrived with an entourage, chat. And he's like, all right, as soon as I get the fucking data, kill the family, and we're going to take Keanu Reeves back to the lab. It's like, oh, he's betraying them, chat. He was not honest. He was not going to let him, he's not going to let Keanu Reeves make sweet, hot love to Alice Eve, chat, for 24 hours. That's such a disappointment. And so Keanu Reeves, he goes out there and he hands the data to Dr. Mr. Jonas. Doctor's like, oh, thank you, man. And Keanu Reeves goes like, bah, and he gets him with a needle, chat. He sedates him. That's a new word I learned today. Sedates him. Sedates him, chat. And he's like, what the fuck? And then Keanu Reeves just begins. He grabs like a pipe or something. And it's like, at this point, you should have caved this man's head. And he begins to whack the shit out of Dr. Mr. Jonas, chat. Mr. Jonas is like, I'm going to be pissed off when I get up. And he goes to sleep. Such a weird line to end on. Oh, this is going to piss me off. And he goes to sleep. And he goes in there. He says, I just bludgeoned my boss to death. We got to fucking leave now. And Laos is like, what did you do? We got to get going. And he takes the goddamn hard drive, chat, wraps in some tinfoil, puts it into, he's looking around the kitchen for the tinfoil. He's like, honey, where's the tinfoil? She says it's in that cabinet. And he's like, okay. Weird part to have like a moment of levity. But he wraps in tinfoil, puts it in the microwave, chat, beep, bop, boop, set it for a minute. It's frying in there. Not good. And he's like, listen, they know that you are human meat clone bodies with download memories. You're technically their property. They're going to come here and they're going to kill you. We got to get the kids. We got to leave. And she's like, shit, okay, fuck. And so they all up in the car, chat. They're pulling out. And the worst security guards in the world, they're kind of looking like, huh, what's going on over there? And like one guy actually raises his gun, like maybe to shoot the tires out. He's like, no, don't shoot. We gotta get word from the boss first, but we can use our guns. And it fucking takes off. He's like, I wonder what happened to the boss. They go in this house, chat. Fucking Dr. Mr. Jones, he's coming too. He's like, I'm pissed. Oh shit. He gets up. He waddles into the kitchen, chat. He sees the data's been fried in the microwave. He's like, no. But then some of those bodyguards come out. He's like, sir, we're tracking him right now. And he's like, great. Kill those guys, or capture the guys, or make sure shoot them, but not in the head, because I need their brains. That's what we need right now. And so then we cut to Keanu Reeves, chat, and he's immediately being hit by another car because they got up to him very quickly. I don't know how they tracked him down so fast. And he's like, I don't know where to go. And his wife's saying, oh geez, they must be tracking us with the GPS or maybe the car. He's like, no, you guys are the trackers. So we learned something new, chat. Apparently, when you clone someone in the soup meat vats before, they're embedded with like a microchip, and that is a tracking device too. I guess you can monitor the life form as it grows and lives its life. And so it's a weird fucking feature. He's like, it's inside you, so that's how they're going to be tracking. She's like, I have an idea. Let's go to the hospital. Because I guess she works at a hospital, chat. Maybe she's a veterinarian, I forget. So they go to the hospital, chat. And she takes the kids up there. She's like, okay, we are going to electrify our bodies with lightning, with thunder. And we're going to kill the microchip inside. He's like, Keanu, that's actually a brilliant idea. It's like, I know. I saw it in Mission Impossible 3. It's pretty cool. And so she goes ahead, clear, boom, fucking, shots her kids, chat. Microchip 1 for the daughter down. Like, shit, they're taking out the chips. And so then she does it to the kid. And eventually Keanu Reeves, he does it to his wife. Microchips are taken out, chat. They leave the hospital and they're like, okay, well, we got to escape the wilds of Puerto Rico. We got to escape the country. I have a boat. Remember our boating trip we were supposed to go on before you all died? Let's go to my boat and we'll just sail out to sea. We'll never be seen again. She goes, sound plan, Keanu Reeves. They go out there and he goes, okay, I'm going to get the boat ready. You all just wait in the car. Don't bother coming with me. Don't bother coming. Just wait right here, okay? And so, stupid. He goes to the boat chase, get everything prepared. And who shows up? Fucking Dr. Mr. Jonas. He's there. He captures everybody, chat. And they're all screaming like, Keanu Reeves, help us! But he can't, chat. He's too slow. And his family's taken back to the lab. That's because that's what Dr. Mr. Jonas wants. He wants them all brought to the lab so he can have Keanu Reeves so he can do the experiment again to create the data and have the right data. And so Alice Eve and her kids are taken there, and then who's waiting in the lab for them? Ed Middleditch. He's there, and he reveals everything. He's like, Alice, I'm sorry, but he found your actual bodies, and I didn't want to get in any trouble. I was like, listen, I can go to jail for like a long time, like 25 plus years. Like, this is not good, okay? And she's like, how could you? And again, not Ed Middleditch's fault, chat. He followed company protocol, okay? He didn't. Because he worked with Keanu Reeves. And the first thing he should have done is report Keanu Reeves for doing this kind of shit. And fucking Dr. Mr. Jones probably would have rewarded him. He's like, oh, no problem, man. Thank you for being a loyal member of the company. But no, not the case. And so eventually, Keanu Reeves, he shows up there, chat. And Dr. Mr. Jones is like, okay, you're going to give me that data, Keanu Reeves. You're going to replicate. He's like, I'm not going to do that for you. And it's like, oh, yeah. And he's about to shoot Alice Eve. Chad's like, no, not my wife. He goes, okay. And he shoots Ed Middleditch instead. He shoots him right in the fucking head. So he's not coming back. He's not respawning. Chad's like, why? Why would you do that? And he's like, I only needed you, but I want to make sure you know I'm serious, pal of mine. And it's like, whoa. And so Keanu Reeves goes like, okay, shit. Well, I'm going to go download my fucking brainwaves, and I'll do that for you. He's like, good, go do your work. By the way, I'm not going to send any security guards to watch you at all. I expect you to do exactly as you're told, all the way down there, all the way in that other room so we don't see you. And Keanu Reeves goes like, of course, sir. And so he goes in their chat, he downloads his brain again, and he puts it in the robot body. He creates another Keanu Reeves. And then, chat, even though, as we learn, if this happens, the fucking robot will freak the fuck out. Keanu Reeves just has a little conversation. He's like, hey, buddy, how you doing? Doing okay? Hey, you're me. You're me. We got a bad guy out there. He's trying to kill our family. We got to take him down. And fucking robot Keanu Reeves goes, hell yeah, man. Let's do it. Bam! They get like a bro fist moment, chat. And he fucking pops up there. Keanu Reeves, he goes out there, chat. And he takes out some of the guards and shit. And fucking Mr. Dr. Jonas is like, did you honestly think that you're gonna get away with this? Come on now. Come on, Keanu. He's like, oh, no, I didn't think I was gonna get away with this. But he did, and Chad, who steps out? It's robot Keanu Reeves. He comes out of there, he grabs one of the bodyguards, Chad, bah, breaks his spine, and then throws a very terrible CGI effect at the audience that is a human body, and it crumples onto the ground. He walks over, and oh god, the rendering on this effect, the CGI robot body, is absolutely terrible. It sucks. Should have stuck with practical effects. I mean, or shoot around it, but my god, like it almost looks stop motion. It looks like something from Clash of the Titans, like the original Clash of the Titans, or those Sword of Sandals movies from like the 60s or 50s when they had the claymation. It looks like that. And this thing's coming at him and it's fucking beating the shit out of him and stuff. And Keanu Reeves is like, you go, Robo-Me. He's like, I shall go. And Keanu Reeves, he gets his family and they get out of their chat and they're just about to leave. They're in the car loaded up. But Keanu Reeves, for the first time ever, he's got a little bit of guilty feeling. He's got a little tug at his heartstrings, and Alice Eve, she's like, go. It's fine. Just go. And so he gets out of the car, chat. He rushes back into the lab, and we see Robo Keanu Reeves just bashing the head of Dr. Mr. Jonas into the ceramic floor. And Keanu Reeves is like, stop, Robo-Me. And Robo-Me's like, why should I stop, Keanu Reeves? Because it's not right. It's not right. Why? Kill him. Just kill him, and then you can leave. No one knows. It's a fucking science experiment that ran amok. What are you doing? Keanu Reeves is like, no. I'm going to cut a deal with the guy who's dying. And Dr. Mr. Jonas is like, I like a deal right now. And he's like, listen, how would you like to live forever? I'll give you the technology to be able to, you know, the exact data that you need to download fucking human brains into robot bodies and the clone bodies and shit. And for free, as long as you leave me and my family alone. And he goes, well, seeing as I'm dying right now, okay, I like that. I'll see you in a minute, Robo Keanu Reeves. Let die. And he dies, chat. And he's like, okay, so you got to go ahead and fucking upload him. And I'm sorry, but you can't come with it. He's like, I know I can't come with you. I know. No, I want you to go out there. I want you to protect our family. I got in chat. It's a meeting of the Keanu Reeves, and they are just as wooden as each other. They show the exact same emotion. Terrible. And he's like, you live your life, human meatbag Keanu Reeves. I shall run this company. And so Keanu Reeves, he goes out, and then we get an ending chat. He's on another beach. I mean, maybe he still is in Puerto Rico. I don't know. Fucking wife, Alice Lee, looking absolutely stunning in a bikini, chat. She's sipping a goddamn drink. Her kids are playing with super soakers and stuff. She looks to the side. She sees Keanu Reeves, and who does he have in his hand, chat? Walking hand in hand with Zoe, who they all forgot about because he deleted their memories. And so she's like, who's that girl? Who's that? And so it's really weird. She's like, oh my God, it's the daughter who I had deleted from my memory. So how does she know? And everyone's happy, like, yay, Zoe's back, even though we don't know who you actually are based on the rest of the thing that we just saw. Yay! And then, chat, but there's another ending. Because then we cut to the United Arab Emirates, chat, and we're following a very old Arab man. And he's loaded up in this wheelchair, and then who do we see walking out? It's Dr. Mr. Jonas, and he's looking great. He didn't look like he was bludgeoned to death by a robot via ceramic floor, chat. He's got his new human clone body. He's looking pretty good. He's like, hello, sir, let's listen. Happy to have you here. Wouldn't you like a second chance at life? And the old Emirate guy's like, show him. And he opens up this huge case of cash. He's like, I like that. I like the cut of your jib, my friend. And so he brings him in there, chat. They have this whole setup here where they have like a robot body, I guess. They have like a the fucking machine to suck up the brain juices and shit. And he's like, oh, Keanu, we have a new customer. And it's fucking the robot, chat. It's Robo Keanu Reeves in a suit. Which I'm like, why you gotta put him in a suit? And he's like, let's begin, shall we? And then credits, chat. And that is Replicas. My God. I was like, at first I'm like, okay, this movie's fine. It's like kind of dealing with some interesting things. Like, oh, this guy is such a selfish character, and it's really going to be his comeuppance based on everything he's doing. His family's going to reject him in the end. It's like, no, he gets away with everything. His wife and children are fine that they're dead and they're not really those people, and that he basically manipulated their minds and deleted things from them, like fucking ripped apart their very essence, chat. And they go, you know what? It's okay. It's like, what? That is some lazy-ass insulting writing, chat. That is unforgivable in my opinion. What a terrible film. Darkslayer, think of the 5 biddies. Every scientific breakthrough always has military application in the movies. That's true, man. I was like, oh, here we go. Here's the fucking military meets science twist of this character. Rocker Birdie, thank you for the 5 biddies as well. But yeah, chat, this is, oh, man. I mean, I don't know if I can give quite a fuck you. It's definitely maybe I should. If not, it's a very low sumo bullshit. But man, that kind of writing is inexcusable. People would not react that way. And the movie is just so lazy. The thing is, it establishes so much exposition in the beginning. It's like, this is the rules. This is what works and what doesn't work. And it just fucking forgoes that. So you know what, chat? If you're not going to adhere to the rules that you establish in your movie, not only once, but like multiple times, like over and over and over. Sometimes there's plot holes in films. There's always plot holes in films. That's what happens, chat. There is convenience in movies, you know. or happenstance. It happens. But this, the way this film does this over and over and over again, it's like, nah, that's not forgivable. This, I have to give this shit. I have to give this a fuck you. What a disgrace of a film. No wonder it's sitting on a shelf for 5+ years. My God. Yeah, I'm giving it a fuck you. Right, Ray, Chris, I need a drink out of that review. I'm sorry. I hope you enjoyed the review, though, guys. Hope you enjoyed the adventures of Keanu Reeves and family. Keanu Reeves and co. Oh, Chris Ayers. Thank you for the 10 biddies. It almost feels like it should take place in the same universe as Morgan in the last... Oh, you know what? I can definitely see that. Yeah. Yep, science from amok, but it's dumb science, Chad. It's very dumb.